Hi guys, welcome back for chapter 4. Now that you've sort of gotten the hang of how to answer these questions, I'm not going to go over the answers to all the questions at the beginning of the next video, just to sort of save on time. If you need to go back and rewatch parts of what I read to find the answer, please do that. But other than that, I'm just going to get rolling into the next questions for the chapter I'm going to read. So this is chapter 4. And there are 5 questions for this chapter. I think your paper has lines on it, so if it doesn't look exactly like this, that's okay. I should have mentioned that before. Question number 1, what did Annie think the pteranodon felt like? Number 2, what covers the pteranodon's skin? Number 3, what did Annie name the pteranodon? Number 4, what did Jack write in his notebook? And number 5, why did Annie gasp and point toward the hill? Gasp is like, why did she gasp and point toward the hill? Okay, so let's get into chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Henry. Jack gasped as Annie reached out her hand toward the pteranodon. Oh no, he thought. Annie was always trying to make friends with animals, but this was going too far. Don't get too close to him, Annie, Jack shouted. Annie touched the pteranodon's crest. She stroked his neck, and she was talking to him. What in the world is she saying? Jack wondered. He took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be good to examine the pteranodon. He could take notes like a scientist. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he reached the ground, he was only a few feet away from the creature. The pteranodon stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. He's soft, Jack, said Annie. He feels like Henry. He snorted. He's no dog, Annie. Feel him, Jack, said Annie. Jack didn't move. Don't think, Jack. Just do it, Annie said. Jack stepped forward and he reached out very cautiously. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting, Jack thought. A thin layer of fuzz covered the pteranodon's skin. Soft, huh? Said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook, and he wrote, Fuzzy skin. What are you doing? Asked Annie. Taking notes, said Jack. We're probably the first people in the world ever to see a real live pteranodon. Jack looked at the pteranodon again, and the bony crest on top of his head was longer than Jack's arm. I wonder how smart he is, said Jack. Very smart, said Annie. Don't count on it, said Jack. His brain's probably no bigger than a bean. No, he's very smart. I can feel it, said Annie. I'm going to call him Henry. Jack wrote in his notebook, small brain, ? Jack looked at the creature again. Maybe he's a mutant, he said. The pteranodon tilted his head. Annie laughed. He's not a mutant, Jack. Well, what's he doing here then? Where is this place? Said Jack. Annie leaned in close to the pteranodon. Do you know where we are, Henry? She asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. His long jaws were opening and closing like a giant pair of scissors. Are you trying to talk to me, Henry? asked Annie. Forget it, Annie, Jack wrote in his notebook. Mouth like scissors. Did we come to a long time ago, Henry? Asked Annie. Is this place from long ago? Suddenly, Annie gasped. Jack! Jack looked up, and Annie was pointing toward the hill. On top stood a huge dinosaur. Why did Annie gasp and point toward the hill? Okay, so that's the end of chapter 4. Go ahead and answer your questions. Do the best that you can. Rewatch any of the chapter if you need to. And I will see you next time for chapter 5.